Most men are taught how to attract women. Almost no one teaches men how to actually choose well and how to build a lasting, healthy relationship. So here I'm going to be talking about 5 truths that modern men right now, need to hear the most. So let's get into it. Firstly, sexual attraction alone is not going to sustain a relationship. Chemistry gets you interested, but without substance, without friendship, without honesty, without transparency, without emotional awareness, it's going to turn into avoidance, and that is when you're going to lack intimacy with the woman. Also, attraction does open the door, but it is not going to carry your entire relationship. You need more than that, and one of the biggest reasons why you need more than that is because when you fall in love and when you're in a relationship and let's just say you got married, and one of the promises you make to the other person is if one of us gets sick, I hope we're making these promises, but if one of us gets sick, then I'm going to look after you. I'm still going to be there for you. I'm not going to leave you just because you fall sick. And sometimes we don't know how life is going to pan out. Maybe that person is going to lose a leg. They're going to get a disease or whatever it is. I know this is a little bit too far, but I think we need to think a little bit too far. We need to have an understanding of why am I saying this? Why do these things exist? Because when we're younger, we think, it's just working and I'm just here to get women and have great sex. And that works in that phase of your life. But when you get older, when you have children, you can't live like that any longer. Unless you want to live a lonely, miserable life. And I'm not saying you need to be in a relationship in order to be happy, but if you are in a relationship and that woman also has a bit of awareness and she's looking for peace, love, all the things that we all say we want, then one of the portions of that is you want a relationship built on friendship. You want a good, healthy foundation and not just be with that person because of how they look and how they are in bed. That's just not what we're doing out here. If that's how, that's your mentality, again, there's no judgment. We're all on our journeys, right? But all I'm saying is that it's not going to lead to where you want it to go. You might think for that moment that it is, but most of those relationships that's more superficial, it leads you to feeling empty and alone, which is the exact feeling that you're trying to run away from. If you're currently dating right now, make sure 100% that you're attracted to that person, but do not put your entire weight on just attraction. But then, she doesn't even listen to you. She's not really there for you when you really need her. You cannot rely on this person. They're not standing in their truth. There's so many red flags that men see, but then they just choose to, it's not going to come bite me in my butt, but it really is. And so really just being honest about yourself, with yourself on who this person really is. And before you even get there, I want you to get honest with yourself and see who are you being in this moment in time. Because a lot of the times we're avoiding things in other people because we're really avoiding those qualities in ourselves. So it's really a mirror once you go a little bit deeper into this. Secondly, one of the biggest things I noticed when I was coaching men, especially, and I'm coming back to sex again, but especially around sex, men lack boundaries. They think just because I'm a man that I have to accept when a woman is coming on to me. And this actually happened with one of my clients where he said, I'm looking for a healthy relationship. He wants, a partner, and he had a pattern of choosing women who were not available to him emotionally, mentally, basically all the ways. And so he just didn't understand what he was doing wrong. And then I was like, okay, let's start, I started the whole coaching because I wanted to see how does he behave when he's dating. So obviously we do a little bit of a debrief after his dates. And it's funny, I've learned this working with men is that a lot of men, they can sometimes hide things. And luckily, I'm a lie detector because I know when men are making shit up. And so I remember he was telling me, he went on this date and he got a little bit quiet. He just wasn't able to express what he was trying to express. And I knew that he was holding on to something. Okay. And that is where coaching comes in, because the things that you don't want to say to your friends or to your family or whoever, it comes up in coaching. Because I'm not going to bring it up next week at our dinner table. It's going to be between you and me. And I think that is where coaching is so impactful in men's lives. So what he mentioned then later on, as we unpacked a little bit more, is that on the first date, the woman was wanting to get intimate with him on the first date. And he said that, as men, we can't say no, because it's like, come on. And I was like, hold on, let's just unpack this for a second. Because if you believe that men don't need to have boundaries, it doesn't matter if it's sex or if it's money or whatever it is. And the first thing we need to unpack, what are your beliefs around boundaries? Do you believe that men should have boundaries and women can do whatever the hell they want? And so we really dove deep and understood his childhood, which it made sense why this was happening. The interesting part was that he knew that something about her felt off. He just didn't understand or conceptualize what that was, because in his mind, he's like, well, men don't, we don't say no to sex. Like if it's there, it's there kind of thing. So that is where we need to get very clear about what is our intention with dating. Are we here just to lay down, or are we here to really build a relationship that is going to lead us to a relationship that we're able to, be partners and be friends in, we're able to share, we're able to love, we're able to have fun, we're able to enjoy life, we're able to support each other in our dreams and aspirations. What is your intention when you are dating? Because if we don't know this, then we are going to keep on attracting women like this in our life, where they're just taking. And then you come on social media and be like, oh my God, all women are horrible. They're so materialistic. Yeah, they're materialistic. Not for all men. I'm just saying some men that have coached, they're doing that because you're allowing it. You're allowing that behavior to sleep with her soon. And then soon she might be like, hey, can I use your credit card or whatever it is. This is just an example. It's not all women are like this. Woman, calm it down. I'm just giving you an example. Everybody take a deep breath. I'm going to take a deep breath. So as a man, you need to figure out what are your boundaries with money, with sex, with whatever it is, whatever that is coming up for you. Maybe you don't even know all of your boundaries yet, and that's fine. But as you're dating, if something's coming up for you, if the woman is pushing you and it's feeling uncomfortable for you, check in with yourself. Go home, journal about it, talk to some friends, and be like, what should be my boundaries around this? Maybe you don't know, and that's all right. But if you just keep on, you're like water, you just go wherever the woman takes you, then that is where you're going to end up a lonely, lost man. Or you're just going to end up in a divorce that is going to take away all of your money, right? Sometimes in the span of 1 year, 2 years, 6 years, whatever, it's going to work for you. But then there's going to be a time in your life where you're like, this doesn't seem like a partnership. I feel like I'm getting dragged and I don't feel like my best self. I don't even know who I am anymore. And that is why doing this work right now is so critical in your life that you don't even, you can't even fathom how important it is. I just wish somebody told me this when I was 20, when I was 21. If you're 21 and you're watching this, you're going to go a long way. But the moment that you ignore your inner signal, your intuition, that little whisper that God whispers, in your ear, and you choose to ignore it because you're like, oh, that's just whatever, But what happens is then you lose self-respect for yourself. And that woman, she might not lose it right then, but slowly, she's going to lose respect for you. And a relationship that is built, any sort of relationship that is built without boundaries is not going to last, or it is going to be a painful relationship to be in. Thirdly, avoidance kills relationships, even though it might have worked for you back in the day. And so most men are conditioned to not express themselves, to stay quiet, unfortunately. And again, I'm so glad that, parenting is changing. The way that we talk about parenting, there's a different way which is a whole other topic. And I think it's very important for mothers and fathers to take a good look at themselves and see how are we, telling our daughter to express herself and how are we explaining it to our son. They're not the same, but they still need that same amount of acceptance to express themselves and to be seen and heard. What you might have learned in your childhood is that when I express myself, I get hurt. Or it just doesn't help. It doesn't get me anywhere. So I might as well just avoid, ignore, and move the F along because nobody gives a shit anyway. So why should I express myself? And the cost of expressing yourself might have been so painful that you might have just chosen a different route, which is just be more passive aggressive. That works for survival, but it doesn't work in relationships. And so think of your relationship like a bank account, okay? If you keep on withdrawing, but you never deposit anything into it, you never deposit love, honesty, presence, effort, then it doesn't explode, but it just slowly runs empty. The fourth point that I would like to make is to stop defending yourself and just listen. Just listen. And I know this is the most difficult thing for most of us, including myself, to do. I still find it difficult to listen to my father because he drives me crazy. Nobody on the planet can trigger me. Woo! He's just triggering me right now. Whenever there's some sort of conflict or somebody's criticizing you and your first, action that you take is defending yourself, then ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Because only people that have done something wrong are going to defend themselves. But somebody that, they are just trying to understand why that other person is so upset or whatever it is, they're not going to keep on trying to defend themselves and proving their point. They're not going to try to win. They're just going to try to listen and understand where that person is coming from. And I've seen this with a lot of my relationships is whenever as a woman, I go to, share how I feel, it's straight away. No, but you did this the other day. And then it's like a fight. It's a war. And that is not what a relationship is meant to be. It's really about, hey, this is my side. Now, can you please share with me your side so we can come together as a team and find a solution for this? It's not about who's right, who's in control, who's winning. Those things are irrelevant because if you're going in a relationship with those, with that sort of attitude, then you're going to end up by yourself. Because the most important part of the relationship is to try to figure out how to be at peace, how to be one, how to be in love with each other, even through all of these obstacles and these challenges that we inevitably are going to face in life. Most conflict escalates because you're too busy explaining, correcting, or protecting your image, which again has everything to do with your ego. And the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is that by listening, it doesn't mean that you are agreeing to the other party. It doesn't mean that you're weaker. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're present and mature enough to understand before you react. And that alone de-escalates more than any argument ever will. Lastly, dating works when you lead yourself emotionally. Now, what this means is that when there is a conflict in a relationship, there is a misalignment. There are so many things that can happen in a relationship. There's a challenge that arises, which it will, by the way, just letting you guys know. And so what I would like you to do in that moment is instead of running away because it got too uncomfortable for you, instead of disappearing, instead of numbing, instead of chasing, what I would like you to do, and this is again very difficult, I would like you to stay grounded in yourself. This is difficult to do without awareness and without practices like meditation, journaling. And I'm going to say it till the day I die. Meditation, journaling. I'm going to keep on saying because those two things saved my damn life. And part of grounding yourself is really about just taking a deep breath, saying a mantra, taking some space, but obviously communicating that, give me a minute, give me 5 minutes. I need to just take some air and come back to you on this. And that is going to be fine. That's better than you running away, closing the door, and then never addressing the issue. And so recently I heard Dr. Phil say something so powerful. It was so simple, but it was so powerful. And it stuck with me, which is you fix an emotional problem with emotions, and you fix a financial problem with finances. Okay, so let's just go a little bit deeper. So what he really means by this, most of us do the complete opposite. So when we feel unloved, unseen, rejected, we then try to solve that problem because we don't want to feel it anymore. So we think that in order to solve this problem and get rid of it, I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go drinking. I'm going to distract myself. I'm going to watch porn. I'm going to watch Netflix, whatever that is, that numbing of the self is, or chasing validation. All of these things are literally doing the complete opposite of what you are trying to do, which is to solve what you're feeling. If you have a financial problem right now, you're in debt, whatever it is, the solution is not more numbing of the self, or not more shopping, or not more any of these things that we continuously do to sabotage ourselves. But it really is about creating boundaries and creating awareness, and looking at your financial plan, looking at your bank account, which is, it was very difficult for me for a long time, because every time I used to look at my bank account, I used to be like, oh my God, I have no money. where am I going to pay my rent? And that was a mindset because of my childhood. That's, that was the norm for me, that I always had a fear around money. But in order to solve that, I cannot go and get a new haircut or go buy a bottle of wine and think, okay, I'm going to just distract myself, and now I'm going to feel so much better about my bank account. That's not the solution. The solution is to look at the bank account and connect, and it's about creating some sort of a plan. Okay, every month I'm going to take out $100 and put it in my savings. Whatever that plan needs to be for you. But you cannot solve it with emotions. But emotional pain doesn't disappear that way. What happens is that it's just going to go quiet for a little bit, and then it's going to come back louder in a different way. It's going to come in a different route. That you're like, how did this happen again? Why is this happening again? And a lot of the times, emotions actually block money from your life. And this happened for me for a long time, where I was feeling inadequate about myself. I didn't believe in myself. I lacked confidence, whatever it was. And that contaminated my bank account, the opportunities that I was attracting to myself. When I was in unhealthy relationships, I didn't truly accept or love myself. And so then I didn't attract great jobs. I attracted crappy jobs that did not value me because I didn't value me. Ow, just cracked my knuckle. The only way to get through this is to feel the emotion. There's no other way through it. And it's not always by exploding, yelling, cursing. I mean, those could be an avenue. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Screaming and shouting and just getting rid of that energy, But also what you need to do is you have to become aware of what is the emotion that you're actually feeling in that moment, and letting it move through you instead of avoiding it. Those are the 5 dating truths that men aren't being told currently, and I hope you guys got some insight from it. And if you did, let me know down below, what is the most helpful point for you? Has there been any sort of revelation for you? And if not, then I gotta leave this job. Okay. I know there's so much content out there, and the fact that you have spent, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but your time with me, and either you're cursing at me or you're, whatever it is, you're gaining some knowledge. I don't know what you're doing on the other side of the screen, but I really hope that what I'm putting out there is really helping you. If there is something specific that you just need more insights on, then please put it down below so I can get to making those videos. I totally forgot to mention, if you need help seeing your pattern clearly and breaking it, then I would urge you to book a call with me, a session. The link is going to be down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you guys on the next one.